What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz, Episode 6. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Let's kickstart this bike, Josh. Do some wheelies down the road of Zeztz.
Oh no, I think that I've flooded it. That's what would happen. I don't know how
you could do that. So that's one of the many words or phrases in life, I guess, like cool car guy stuff that I never understood. Like, I know you can flood an engine.
Yep.
But I know that doesn't mean water's actively going in it. And the only thing that I know that it means is that you like pump on the accelerator too much, like back in the old days when cars weren't like automatically fuel injected. It was like give it some gas and turn the key. And I guess you could like give it too much gas.
That's the thing. I think it's flooded with fuel, not with water.
It just flops around in there.
Yeah, I think it's just too much gas. Here, I'm gonna Google it and we'll answer.
All right. But then to that point though, like where does it go then? Because eventually the car will start. But if you flooded it with fuel, the fuel doesn't just disappear. And then where does it go? And why does the car start?
So the AI response says that a flooded engine has too much fuel for the amount of air, preventing ignition. Because an engine brings in air, brings in fuel, and adds spark, and then that creates the combustion. But I guess if you have too much fuel, you don't have enough room for air, so the spark's not actually doing anything, I guess.
But then how does the fuel get out? This isn't answering how you deflood a car.
So it says to fix it, open the hood to allow the fuel to evaporate. I don't know if that's actually true or not. Apparently, the flooding can also get your spark plugs wet, which means then there would be no spark because they would be soaked in fuel.
That makes more sense. The other thing too is I have a riding lawnmower, and the one day I put more gas in it, and it wouldn't really start, and it turned over, and then it went, and then it turned back off, and I couldn't get it to start again. And I text my buddy, and he was like, "Oh, you like airlocked the fuel tank or something like that, or some like weird phrase along those lines." I was kind of like flooding the engine, and I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And he said, "Oh, if you just open the gas cap, like where the actual tank is of gas." He was like, "Just open it and then try to start the engine, and it should be fine because somehow it relieves the pressure that was built up, or there was too much pressure or something."
Okay. It's like created a vacuum in there, essentially.
Yeah, but lo and behold, I opened the gas cap and started the lawnmower and fired right up.
That's crazy. That whoever told you that, like, is so cool. Like, I have watched a lot of car TV. I've watched a lot of car YouTube. Like car stuff is like one of my maybe like my 10th hobby down the list, but like I enjoy it, right? Like I've watched a lot of like Top Gear in my time. I've watched a lot of Roadkill, like all of Roadkill actually. Like I've watched a lot of car shows. I don't know shit about cars still, and I watch a lot of like car mechanic stuff even. And I couldn't have told you about the crazy fuel vacuum lock that you're talking about. I barely even knew what flooded was. It has not. It's not absorbed in my brain apparently.
So I wanted to double check what it was called so smart people could sound smarter or learn things. Apparently it's called a vapor lock. And it's when heat from the engine, exhaust, and or outside temperatures causes the fuel to vaporize in the lines. Sometimes like a engine or a fuel tank winterizing and then coming back out of winter causes it. And I think it was the first time I started for the year. So I guess there was just like gas vapors blocking the lines so the fuel couldn't come through or something. But opening the gas cap definitely equalized whatever the vapor lock was and fixed it.
That's interesting.
That's all I can really add. And the most important thing, Josh, is the person that told me this is, I want to say almost 30, if not yet 30. So someone like 10, 12, 14 years, my junior, had to teach me how to start a lawnmower like a child.
What part did you have to learn?
How to turn the gas, how to open the gas tank, I guess.
Oh, just that part.
I had to know how it, I needed to know how it broke to know how to fix it. And it was like a text like 30 seconds later, basically like, "Oh yeah, it's vapor lock. Just open the gas cap and start it. You're good." Blah blah blah. And
this is like the mechanic equivalent of when your grandma calls you over and tells you that the TV's broken and you pick up the remote and fix it by pressing one button. And she's like, "Oh my God, you're a wizard." And you're like, "No, I've just used the TV before, grandma. I'm sorry." Like this is that.
You weren't pressing power, grandma. You were
Yeah.
pressing input. And that's not what that means.
This is exactly that. It's like the mechanic is like, "Ugh, you're just such an idiot. He doesn't know about vapor lock. What
What
a
a
moron."
fool.
Yeah.
And luckily, I didn't have to take it. I did not have to take it to a mechanic because I'm pretty sure like they would have got there, they would have opened it and been like, "Oh, easy," and then charged me like $200 for an hour's worth of labor.
Yeah. I feel like you and I are
Idiots. Yeah, I agree.
we
That's
are
okay.
idiots. That is very true. No, I was gonna say, we're modern enlightened men. I feel like we don't adhere to necessarily all of the traditional gender stereotypes, like, but when it comes to like taking your car into the mechanic, there is something very emasculating about not knowing anything and the mechanic knowing everything. Like there's something about that dynamic. Like I normally never feel that way. I'm just like, man, I'm not manly enough for this. But like, there's something about the mechanic talking to you experience that makes me just feel like a tiny child that knows nothing. It's like, yeah, there's
I
something there.
guess it's because it's like at least presentation wise throughout the years, like car guy, yeah, I changed my own spark plugs, I changed my own oil, I took this Hemi out and jacked it up, and we're ripping V8s over here, and all those things. But like Prime, like you should know how to do this, and I never learned. I never really had interest. I never learned.
Yeah.
Sometimes I suffer in life now because I can't do car things, but hey, I can turn a computer on. So
Yeah.
who's the fool now?
I think it might affect me more because I think that of all of like the traditionally macho things that guys can do, it's really the only one that I actually kind of respect. Like like a lot of stuff is like it's very off-putting to me, right? Like I don't want to necessarily go bash my head in playing football or anything like that. I don't want to take my shirt off and chest bump you in a sports bar. But if we're talking about like learning how cars work and like that engineering, it's like I respect that. So when someone who does that talks down to me, I take it to heart. We're really cracking open deep-seated emotional issues here today, Toby. This is good.
Apparently.
Speaking of cracking open deep-seated emotional issues, let's talk about Kamen Rider because that's what we did this week in Kamen Rider Zeztz.
Some would say that's what a nightmare is.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's just deep-seated car trauma that you can't get out of.
As we transition over to talking about Kamen Rider, I guess, yeah, first of all, a little programming note. We will not be having an episode next week, just putting that out there for everyone. But we should be back the week after that. We've just got quite a busy week going on. I'll be out of town, just lots of stuff going on. So
We both have our own special assignments to go out on.
That's right. just like Baku, we're going to go out and try to solve our own cases. And we'll report back after that. So you'll have to do without us for a week, unfortunately, but we will return for future cases. And the other thing to point out, of course, is that we do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/thecommentwriters is where you can find that. $3 a month gets you access to a ton of bonus content. We're watching toku shows, and you get to watch along with us. And you get access to our Discord as well. So you can chat along with us all week long, and even the week that we will be not recording an episode, we'll probably still be popping into the Discord.
Most important, we have enough while we will be gone next week for the live zeztz live show live. Our Patreon will still have content coming out. So if you feel like this week already, you're like, man, I'm going to miss those guys next week. I'm not going to listen to these idiots talk for 40 minutes, 60 minutes, an hour, whatever. I guess at that point, if you just pay for the Patreon, even for just 1 week, I mean, at that point you're paying for a month, but just pay for a week and be like, hey, I paid a couple bucks. I got to hear an episode-ish, sort of, kind of, in a way. And you all be happy with our lives.
That's true. That's genius. Yeah. And of course, if you're not ready to sign up yet, we also have a bunch of free options as well. You can follow the Patreon for free, and we have the first 3 episodes of every show that we've watched up there, and you can check all those out too. So you can give it a little sample on the week that we're out next week, and decide if you want to sign up for the full $3 or not. But again, that's patreon.com/the comment writers. So, Toby, this week we are in episode 6 of Kamen Rider Zeztz, and boy, this was a crazy episode. I think it didn't feel like Kamen Rider even to me until really like the very end. But I liked a lot of what was happening in it. So
there was one specific movie it reminded me of for a good chunk of time, but we will get there.
Oh, I'm excited to hear what that is because I'm not 100% sure what that would be. But we open and we are in a prison. The mission this time is escape with all the prisoners. So Baku is kind of chained up in this prison cell with other people. So he's with Nem, of course, who shows up in all of his dreams, and 2 other folks, which we find out very quickly are Nem's parents. And Baku, of course, freaks out that he's meeting the family Nem, as he continues to call them. And
you never told me.
Yeah. Which was this whole scene was amazing. He finds out that they're the parents. He freaks out, wants to make a great impression, and then because it's his dream and he's a lucid dreamer, he then starts just showing off. So he like whips off his chains and reveals his secret agent outfit, and then the nonchalance with which he removes their chains is maybe one of the funniest scenes in all of Kamen Rider for me. He basically just like touches their chains and they fall off. It's like he scripts himself as like the ultimate badass because finally he's meeting the girl he likes' parents.
Especially like when he gets to like he gets his off pretty easily. It looks pretty suave about it. And when he specifically gets to Nem's, he does like it's like Disney movie musical vibe of like, oh, Gaston can break a girl out of chains with a flick of the wrist. And he basically just kind of like saunters by Nem at last. And I think it was like he like snaps his fingers by her like throat chain choker thing and just pops right off. Like he's the suavest motherfucker there is.
It's so good. And like everything he does in this opening scene, it's like he like takes the little capsum and then like jumps them through like spinning blades that are trying to cut them. He essentially just becomes a can do anything superhero in order to impress her parents, which is all very funny. It's a great use of the fact that they are in, you know, a dream world. They're in a nightmare that he has some agency over, and I love when they could find like little things like that. And this was just a perfect one.
Well, especially like the chain, the saw blade room, death trap piece, whatever. When he just kind of like hyper dashes through it with all of them either under his arms, on his back, whatever. That was like prime quick time event for a video game. Where you run up to the thing and in your brain you go, is the game going to make me do this myself, or am I going to just get a quick time event? But it's basically just like, hey, you got this new ultimate power that gets you through saw blades. Don't worry about it. Just all you got to do is charge and dash and press Y and away you'll go. And he's kind of powered through and kicked some ass.
Yeah, he certainly did. It's so funny that like, again, because it's a dream world, they get to take things that would like normally be big hurdles and they get to just sort of like hand wave them away in a funny way, and then things that like otherwise wouldn't be huge issues they have to spend a long time tracking down, you know, like whose dream it is, what the goal of the dreamer is, what the relationship between the characters are, and like that's the thing they have to focus on. But then when we get to jumping through saw blades, it's just like it's like a whatever 5-second gag. Which is super fun. We also see at this point that the outside of the facility that they're in is this crazy giant monster, essentially, right? It's this like funnel shaped thing. And Nox, the mysterious figure who we've seen throughout the whole season so far, is the creator of this prison that they're currently in.
So basically, from all the little danger room attack things, followed up by a later conversation of like, man, we're just in here and there's no real way to get out of it. So there's a very old horror movie called Cube, or maybe it was The Cube, but it was basically six people trapped in a murder death cube that was like rooms upon rooms, high, wide, deep, whatever. And basically, it was kind of like a Saw movie. But the whole crux was it was six people from six wildly different walks of life. They kind of had to figure out like where each of their perks was to get them through the rooms. And each room was either a trap or a clear room, but they had to figure out like how to get through the trap rooms and what to do, what not to do, whatever. So when they started doing all the floors and they did the inevitable like, wow, look how big this thing is. There's no way out of here for sure. And they did the crazy big zoom out. It was very close to the way they revealed like the cube was a giant, massive cube.
Oh, okay.
So that's just like the first thing I thought of, and it fits kind of the prime. Hey, we're in this new room. Oh, there's arrow guns shooting at us. Hey, there's all these floors, but is there really an exit? Who knows? We'll have to find out later. And like it was just seemed very the cube coded to me.
I can see that. I can see that being a direct reference. Yeah, I mean they're clearly referencing a lot of like Western media this season with all the secret agent stuff and yeah, I think they're clearly going to get very into like tropey concepts for all the nightmare worlds. So I could totally see it being like a direct reference to the cube.
Or at least if not that, I mean like Danger Room movies, I guess we'll call it like Escape Room, The Saws, as for a much more extreme example. But I feel like there was a couple year gap in there where, oh no, I mean, shit, like Squid Game now-ish kind of thing. I feel like the world was/is very big on, oh no, there's dangers that we'll have to work through together, or will we work against each other and see what happens, or blah, blah, blah. How's this going to play out kind of thing. So
Yeah,
I think
that's
maybe
true.
it's probably like a more general, the world loves dangerous escape room maze tunnels more than anything else, I guess.
Yeah, that is maybe exactly the vibe. We also find out around this time when they stop to rest that these two people aren't actually Nem's parents. She kind of casually drops that, like, oh, these aren't really my parents. So I don't really know what they're thinking. I don't really know why they'd be dreaming about me. So Baku, of course, is like, why didn't you tell me that sooner?
I
But
wouldn't have
that's
tried so hard.
yeah. But that's really his cue, basically, to then end the dream for that night. He takes a picture of the parents, so that way when he wakes up, he'll still have it, which is a very convenient mechanism, by the way. The fact that he can take a photo in the dream and carry it into real life, as we talked about before, is clearly going to come in very handy throughout this show.
And especially like with I mean, there's no better, worse way to do it, whatever. But especially when like he takes a picture, immediately wakes up, and is like pulling the camera phone up to his face upon wake up, even because he's like, oh, we're just gonna keep rolling with this. I'm not that tired. I'm wide awake already. Let's go. What's next?
Yeah, the transitions to and from sleep for him are super funny. Like he wakes up instantly and is ready to go. When he goes to sleep to go back into the dream, he does this thing where he like sits up and then he just like launches himself backwards and instantly starts snoring, and that's always funny every time. But when he wakes up, he finds, of course, that the police duo are already in his little command center, and already hard at work.
I think
He
that
walks in.
like the craziest part of that, or not crazy, but like the wackiest little thing is so basically he wakes up and he sees his window is open and he kind of like sighs and knows what it means. And such like like a simple, silly, whatever little marker of like, oh, if his window's open, he has company.
Yeah,
We know what this means now. I guess this is just gonna be the thing every time.
yeah, I think so. He's gonna every time he's gonna wake up, look over the window, it's gonna be open. He's just gonna like saunter in there to find out what those two are up to. And the big thing, of course, that he finds out from talking to them is that there is a like a strange, almost a crop symbol, like a strange circle that appeared at the local quarry, and people don't know where it came from. And Baku realizes that the image in the crop circle in the big quarry symbol is the same as a symbol that he saw in his dream on the wall. So he decides that they're related because of that.
So the symbol, I use my secret agent detective skills before things happen towards the end. It's the same symbol that the evil Nightmare Man has in his book that he pointed to all the little colors last week and was like,
Oh, good
mine,
catch.
uh, humanity, like whatever the four little symbols of life that were collapsing, it's that book symbol out in the real world or like in a thing. So I guess smarter people would have put those pieces together towards the end than I did of like, oh, it's going to be some sort of thing with the main spooky nightmare guy. But it was definitely like the same logo that I feel like you, whoever should all catch if you're going to
Yeah,
be a pro secret agent like we're all supposed to be.
that is a good catch. I was not a pro secret agent, and I did not catch that before. So that's good to point that out now. Speaking of not being pro secret agents, he shows them the picture, and Nazca runs their faces in their, I guess, police database, but doesn't get any hits. They can't figure out who these people are. So instead, Baku goes and shows it to his sister, and she instantly knows
the next best thing.
Yeah. So she, of course, knows who he is, and it turns out his name is Bajogi, and he is the president of NEM's like talent agency. So we very quickly go to a shoot and get to meet him directly. Baku gets to meet him directly, and the first thing that we find out is he doesn't recognize Baku. So I guess that's a detail about these dreams, is that the people who are having the dreams might remember Baku from being in their dreams. But if they are not the actual dreamer, then they wouldn't remember that, if that makes sense. So that's, I guess, a tie to the real world again, is how this stuff's going to connect. But Nem gets mentioned in this conversation, and basically Bajogi tells a story about how he discovered Nem when she was in an orphanage at like 8 years old and was like, she's worth $1 million.
She's going to be the next idol.
So he takes her in and makes her a child model star, and has continued, I guess, to like be the person, essentially creating her career along the way. And he, like, the way he talks about her here is like borderline creepy. He's like, it's very much like
he also made weird eyes and faces of like, I forget if it's when she was the young child when I wrote the note down, or when she at least was like the grown up and like, oh, thank you so much for your help. But he definitely gives her like the fuck me eyes of like, oh, you're so great. You're my $1 million baby. But I don't remember the age at which he did it. I'm pretty sure he did it at the younger one, because I think that's the only reason I would have wrote down the note, but who can say?
It does, like, the vibe is really, yeah, it's like groomer-esque. Like, his like seeing this 8-year-old and deciding that like, oh, she's the one, is kind of creepy. And like, yeah, for sure, like the eyes and stuff he gives her is just it's very strange. And like, I was sitting here watching this thinking like, are they intending it to be as awkward as it is, or is this just like kind of part of idol culture in Japan? Like, I was trying to decide if the Japanese people would perceive this in the same way that I'm perceiving it. I think by the end they were intending it to be awkward, is what my answer was. But yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
I would say almost the same thing. Like, to me, at least, it was, we're going to take what idol culture is known as and make it more extreme, at least outwardly on the fucked up side.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's like any part of idol culture I've ever heard about never seems like a happy, nice thing whatsoever.
Right.
So I also just assume like they show that and people just kind of shrug and go, oh, it's Tuesday. Okay. Yep. Gonna make some breakfast real quick. Like, it's just like a known thing more so than, wow, look how extra fucked up this guy is, versus, oh yeah, my neighbor had like 4 idols in his agency that he found when they were like 10. No big deal. Like, they went out to be singers and then quit and then got washed up and used like they always do. They retired at 22. They work at Starbucks now. Like, just the usual, just like the life rotation.
Use them up and throw them away. Yeah. So after we find out about Bijogi here, we head back and we tell the 2 cops what the whole deal is. We also find out that Bijogi is getting separated from his wife at this point. That's what we find out from one of the cops. So then Fujimi has a big theory now. He's pieced all together. Basically, he thinks that the dream is coming from Bijogi because he's thought of Nem as basically a daughter since he's known her, and now since he's getting divorced, basically he's having a nightmare. He's dreaming about this family that is like slipping through his fingers now that he'll never have because of his divorce, which is a reasonable theory. I can see how we got there.
Sure.
So
not when the theory's tied to his 8-year-old grown-up idol that might be his muse.
Yeah, it very much was it was a very nice read of the situation as he was concerned. Like we're definitely giving him the benefit of the doubt if we think that is the motive. Baku goes back to sleep, and basically the dream picks up right back where it left off. And the first thing he asks Nem is, okay, you said this wasn't your actual family. Why didn't you tell me it was the president of your agency? And this is where things get interesting, because we start to find maybe things out about Nem here. So she basically says, like, that's not how the script was written for, this dream. Baku then presses her on it, kind of says, like, okay, you must have hidden this for a reason. Eventually yells at her, and she, kind of like, she has like a bit of a fit, and she's like, listen, I know people might get hurt, but like, it doesn't give you the right to pry into people's minds. And then
this is my dream too, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. So clearly there's more going on. She is not being 100% truthful about everything. I guess that is happening, and she's very defensive about it. She runs off, and everyone then chases off after her. They end up in a familiar warehouse that we see in the Sentai shows all the time, and a nightmare appears. So now we're actually getting into some common writing. Baku tells Nem to go, take care of her parents, and he's gonna henshin and fight this monster. And he henshins Toby using a new capsum that he picked up earlier in the episode, which is machinery. So he essentially has like a weird claw game arm for most of this fight.
It also seemed Mega Man-y at some points, because like
super Mega Man.
It would kind of like tuck back into, I guess we'll call it, his like wrist guard, and his hand would pop back out, and then it would turn it into a claw hand again. So we made jokes all the way towards the beginning of like, hey, it'd be cool if it was like very Mega Man-y, or at least if there was a common rider who was Mega Man-y and could do like fight the monster, get the monster powers, blah blah blah. So at least visually, we got some sort of Mega Man representation today.
Yeah, it was super Mega Man colors, super Mega Man functionality. This was very cool. I liked the whole arm thing. I liked that he could reconfigure it. When at one point when he does like pop his hand back out, turns it from claw to hand, he does it so that he can grab a sword from out of nowhere. Essentially, he manifests this sword that then he like converts to a gun. He had to have two hands to convert his sword to a gun. That whole sequence was really slickly done. And really, this fight was, I think, choreographed very well. I was starting to see some of the like brilliant choreography that, of course, we got last season that I hadn't really seen too much of yet this season, and there were glimpses of it here, which I was excited to see. But I think that this power up, the machine capsum, is one of those power ups that you see in Kamen Rider where you start to think like, why wouldn't you just always use that one then? Like that would seem strictly better, because if you can have a regular arm, but then also you can have like different robotic claw arms and stuff, that just seems like a strict upgrade. I don't know.
So my thought process, two things with the machine hand that worked out quite well and everything else. So in the beginning, or earlier or whatever, when he goes to his gacha machines and goes, let's just see what I'm taking with me on this mission, he like turns two different gacha machines, which is fine, but there's no coins to put in. So at that point,
they're free play.
Why don't you just get a bunch of capsums and not just two to take with you? So that was the first thought. And then followed into the second thought when he started using the machinery hand, which again worked out perfectly fine. That's not the conversation. He gets the capsums. He goes away with them. And then he finds the nightmare. He's like, oh shit, it's time to fight. And then he uses the capsum for the first time and just sees what it does. And that seems like very bad video gamey / secret agency moves.
Let's check this out for the first time. While I'm here in front of a monster.
I don't know what gacha box I brought with me. I'm going to pop this potion right now, see what it does. But that seems like bad prep work to not know what his little items do before he takes them in the battle.
Man, I hadn't thought about that, but I totally agree. Like he does that, and he only knows the name of the capsum that it said when it popped out. Like he knows nothing else.
Yeah, like it was called like machine or machinery, whatever.
Yeah.
But it could have like turned him into a vending machine. Like I know they've all been positive and action items and help you so far, but like it could have turned him into a vending machine, and he just would have sat there, and he was like, "Oh, I guess this was supposed to do something. Who knows?"
Yep. I will say maybe he doesn't grab every capsum out of the machine because remember that little holder they gave him? It only holds 5. So, he's got to pick and choose which capsums he takes into battle.
I guess that's fair.
there's our real world explanation for why that might be. But of course we fight the nightmare monster here, and it feels a little underwhelming. But he ends up thinking he finishes it off, but then who shows up but our mysterious friend Nox. And Nox basically is like, yeah, that's quite the assumption that you made, that you defeated the monster. It's a little arrogant.
At least in the rip that I watched this time, it was the official like English stream version.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's different than everyone's, but like Baku's like, man, that boss was easy mode or something along.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he was very like overconfident and cocky about his victory because basically he didn't have to do much and just did crazy grab hand claw squish and the monsters blew up.
I think it's even funnier than that. I think he maybe references like speed running or something. He's like easy boss clear mode, or he says something that like feels like he's like a very online video gamer, which I really appreciated. But yeah, so basically then Baku, recognizes the voice of Nox. He heard it early on. He's like, oh, now we finally meet face to face. And it's like, who are you? Nox at this point kind of reaches his hand out, rebuilds the nightmare, and then creates a second one. And then he tells Baku that Baku isn't the only one who can lucid dream.
Which seems extremely fair. Baku needs to learn that some way, and then here we go.
This is how. Yeah, I'm very, shocked that we have Nox sort of making a direct confrontation with Baku so quickly. Like I figured we would get, up into like at least the 20 episodes in of Nox just sort of like being on the outskirts and like, pulling the strings from afar. But we get like a direct confrontation here in episode 6, which is kind of crazy. But Baku fights these new nightmares, and basically we find out so Nox talks about, I don't even know. He kind of has some mumbo jumbo about people's dreams and the secrets that they keep. And in the middle of the fight, Baku realizes that the nightmares have the same symbol, the same symbol we saw in the quarry, the same symbol we saw earlier in the walls, and he realizes that these monsters aren't the nightmare. The whole facility is the nightmare, the whole prison. And then at that point, we zoom out and we see the prison again. Eyeballs pop up on it. We see that it's a monster, and like it's a whole monster. It has a tail, and like it is an insane shot that we get here of this thing.
From something that I never saw, but I'm pretty sure is a working reference. I feel like Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle. I think Howl's Moving Castle specifically has like a vintage Japanese temple building that eventually gets like body parts coming out of it, and it's like a living thing. I believe that's the right reference. But that's like specifically what I thought of. Like this weird pyramid triangle death hole just gets little legs and starts walking around.
Yeah, it is. It's off-putting for sure. It is, and it's huge. Like it really gives it. The CG is not great here, but like it definitely gives it quite the scale. You can see that this thing is just massive. And then we're kind of like working our way down. So Nox threatens them a little bit, basically saying they're not going to leave until they die. There's no escape. And in doing this, Nem's, fake father, then says like, "Oh, there's no escape. We can't get out of here. We'll just live in this prison forever." And he grabs Nem and runs off.
This is his dream life, where he still has a wife and his best girl.
Yep, he's got everything that he wants in this place that he can never leave now, so it's perfect. He runs off, and in the real world, we are trying to figure out what's going on here. So we go in and talk to the wife of Bijogi, and they're like trying to figure out why she divorced. They've decided that this has got to be the reason why this is all happening. Why did you divorce him? She says that she doesn't owe him anything anymore because he hasn't been the same person since the accident 4 years ago. Um, and then we cut
So,
over.
wait, so
Okay.
before we talk about the accident
Uh-huh.
or the scene that came after the statement, the
Yep.
accident 4 years ago, what did you, in your
So
mind's eye, what did
yeah.
you think they were going to show in that scene?
So my initial thought when she said accident 4 years ago was that it was going to be an accident that he had, and it was like it did brain damage somehow, right? Like his personality changed or something. That was my initial thought.
So I expected like a car crash or worked too hard and had a stroke or
Yeah.
anything other than what the scene was he was asleep
Yeah,
and
he's
he
at his
had
desk at
and he's
work, it
at his
looks like.
desk
Yeah.
and he has the world's craziest like idol board of I love this idol, like a shrine. That was where I was trying to
Well,
come up with.
yeah, it's
It seems like
definitely a shrine.
yeah, he's a shrine to Nem
Yeah.
in his office. It seems like.
And he's like at his desk kind of like he's clearly like asleep, but he's like sort of sobbing in his sleep. He's having the nightmare, it seems like. So it feels like confirmation that he is the dreamer, I guess. Maybe they'll swerve us next episode. But yeah, he's essentially at his desk having this nightmare. And then yeah, we pan over and we see a shrine to them.
So
So yeah, I mean, I guess my takeaway there is it seems like she's dead, right? Like that seemed like a shrine to someone who's no longer living potentially.
oh, I thought it just hammered home the he was been creeping on her since she was 8,
Sure.
and now he professed his love for his main idol gal, and the wife got mad.
I mean, that absolutely could be it too. Like the shrine could be either of those things from the look of it. It's hard to say.
So I guess to that point, I think it was Jordan that wrote it last week, or someone wrote us the whole thing of like, is Nem really a nightmare?
Yeah,
So
that was Tyler who had
oh,
that
sorry,
theory.
okay.
Yeah.
So using that, I'm gonna call it logic, but using that as a jumping off point as well, I could easily see with you saying that she died, like she died in his dream slash nightmare, and now she's just stuck there. I mean, her being named Nem is a little inconvenient to the fact that she was named Nem when she was 8. But we'll just have to overlook part of that, I guess. But I could see like her dying in his dream nightmare and her always being stuck somewhere now and being a nightmare kind of thing, but not really.
Yeah, I could see them connecting those dots or whatever. Like she I guess they could even hand wave it around where it's just like she was a real person. Well, no, I guess she can't have died, right? Because she is still she's still acting in new things. She's still appearing in new ads. Like she's
She could be AI if
I guess
it's like
so.
her,
Yeah.
if it's like her and his, or maybe not AI necessarily, but like if it's her, if it's Nem's and Jogi's secret, or like a secret between Mr. and Mrs. Nem and then daughter Nem, like they could work around it still. So I guess we'll have to wait and see next episode what happens. I guess that's a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But
They definitely do. So I took it because of the shrine that like that she was dead and he was like mourning her, but like they do set it up. You're 100% right of just like they're setting it up as he's in love with her for sure at the end of this. Like the way that the wife is kind of the one talking as we as we introduce the shrine, it does feel like he sort of told the wife, "Oh, hey, by the way, I'm actually in love with Nem,"
he got
and
in
that
too deep.
yeah, and that caused the divorce. Which is yeah, it's crazy. The show is definitely like last week where it was like, hinting at first time jokes and stuff too. It's like, oh, we're a little edgier than I'm expecting us to be sometimes. I'm shocked that we are finding out details about Nem this early as well. Like I'm shocked about Nox getting involved, but like again, I think Nem is one that I would have felt like we maybe would have had more mystery surrounding her for much longer than, episode 6, 7, where we're getting some answers here.
See, I feel like out of the two of them, she needed an earlier, I'll call it reveal.
Okay.
Just because her main character at this point is just the real life, real world girl is basically not a character. She's an advertisement on a billboard. But if she's going to be in every one of Baku's dreams and like an active participant in the dreams with feelings, emotions, personality, whatever, I think we needed some sort of story about her sooner than like anything else. Maybe not this soon, but like I would have said around now. Like we need to know like where she's coming from, where she's going, kind of thing.
I'm certainly happy to be getting it at this point. But I was just expecting an episode like this to come much further towards like the end of Act 1 or even end of Act 2, because I would have expected us to get much more like Monster of the Week type episodes for a while as we kind of are establishing the world. So it's just interesting we're getting what feels like really important plot episodes kind of early on here.
Way up front.
Indeed, which I guess is akin to other things that this writer has written, right? It's this very Geats-like, where we are constantly getting cliffhangers and every story advances the plot. But these episodes feel to me like they are breaking out a little bit of the, they're not as cookie cutter in terms of like the 2-part stories that we're used to here. Like this one feels radically different than the last 2-parter. And the way that like kind of the cliffhanger is set up is different than last time too. It feels pretty cohesive, I guess, between like the last 2 episodes kind of combined pretty well, and it feels like this one's going to lead into the next one like super super well too.
I still feel like I think overall I'm gonna call them the stories. So like the last story was the wedding one. The one story was the cops and the suicide bomber guy or the big bomb monster, whatever. They all feel more like we made movies and chopped them into episodes, more so than we're making episodes that tie together of a TV show. Like it feels like,
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
like the Bomberman episodes. Like I know they're cut into a TV show to make 3 episodes kind of deal, but I feel like you could watch like that specific thing would have been like an hour and 10-minute movie, and I feel like it works just the same. And I feel like this season of the show is leaning way more towards we're just telling little big stories than like one giant story with little interludes all the time.
Agreed. Yeah, it felt like a lot of stuff. A lot of the 2-parters from, I guess from Gotchard especially, and then even into Gav too. Like it feels like they were writing 2 episodes that were separate episodes but intended to work together. And this feels like they wrote an hour-long story that then they chopped in the middle. There's a subtle difference in the feeling for sure. But we also have a couple things that we will cover. First up is we have our Discord we mentioned earlier from the Patreon. If you're a member of the Discord, there is a channel in there called Episode Questions. And this week, our friend Liv posted a couple questions for us that tie directly into discussion for this episode. So first up, I'll go with the second one first since it's relevant to our current conversation. Do you think Nem in the dreams is the same Nem from the real world? Which interestingly, we actually haven't met Nem in the real world yet, I don't think. Like we've seen her in ads and stuff, but I don't know that like Baku hasn't met her, I don't think yet.
I think that question could tie into what we could call the 4-year ago accident swerve.
For sure.
If we're gonna get crazy deep with guesses and speculation and lore things, whatever, like maybe Nem, the normal actress, was like, no, I hate this shit, I want to quit, idol life is garbage. And maybe Boss Man was like, well, I'll just make a fake Nem. And then maybe like fake Nem's the one that's in the nightmares because she was born out of a nightmare. Or maybe real Nem is the nightmare and fake Nem's out in the real world still advertising because
Yeah.
that's the perfect girl at that point. You just make a little your own idol bot that just does whatever you want and just rakes in the cash kind of thing. So I guess
Oh,
like with that question and not really thinking about it until the death scene today or whatever that scene was, like maybe there are two Nems then. Maybe there's like the nightmare one and the real one, and they don't actually know who's who. Nem did make the quote like, "That's not what the script says today."
yep.
So maybe there's like a third external party doing things for the dreams and not just people's dreams directly. But I
I could
think that would,
absolutely see it being, she's so gung ho about every one of these roles too. I could totally see it being like real Nem wanted to quit the idol world, and he created the dream version of her that is always super excited about every role she gets and never complains and is the perfect actress. That's what he wants. But yeah, I think I'm leaning towards after this episode that uh, either the Nem in the real world and the dream Nem are completely different, or they like split off from the same person 4 years ago and whatever accident happened or whatever. But I do think that there's something about Nem that makes her super different. We obviously know that she's tied in some way to Nox. They're he kind of talks about her as an equal at some point, and like he lumps them together. Then we find out he's a lucid dreamer, so maybe she also is a lucid dreamer who's inserting herself into these dreams. So yeah, there's definitely something fishy going on with her. And then Liv's other question wants to check in and see, now that we've had a few weeks to appreciate the intro, how do we feel about the theme song this year?
I still love it. To do the cool guy name drop music thing, there's a super popular Japanese duo named, I think it's Yoasobi or Yoasabi, on how I say
Mhm.
it. Um, but they're basically like, it's like synthy dance J-pop. It's not like the baby talk voices, cute J-pop stuff. It's like music J-pop. And this season's theme specifically reminds me of the group Yoasabi. So, like I think I said last week, I think the song's awesome. It reminds me of the kind of stuff I'm currently listening to. So I'm all for it. It's very good.
Yeah, I started out liking it, and I have grown into absolutely adoring it. It maybe is my new favorite theme of Common Rider. Like, I think it maybe is my favorite now. Um, like the rap verses are really really good. When we go from in the chorus where it's like, "Give me this chalk to the," like when it hits right there, God, that's good. That is like drugs right in my veins. It's, oh man, it's awesome. I also really like the English in it. I know some people really hate that, but I really like that we get a good chunk of English in the song, and that's super fun. And yeah, it's just it's fast. It's got cool different parts to it, and it just, yeah, it hits real good. It's one of those ones where it's like, it's a good song when I am like looking up who did it and wanting to listen to like more stuff from them, from that. And that's definitely the vibe here. There are lots of Kamen Rider themes that I like a lot, but I don't care to like seek out the larger catalogs from those people. It's like I just want it because it's in the show I liked, and this one is good enough that I want to explore more.
There you go.
All right, Liv, thanks very much for the question. And also, speaking of questions and correspondence, we also have an email address. That is cast@commonwritersucks.com. So send emails to that address. Once again, cast@commonwritersucks.com. We do have an email this week. It comes in from our friend Shade. Shade has lots of details to tell us about. First of all, coming from the producer's blog. The blog introduces us to the guest characters for this episode first up. So if you remember in the episode, we meet the cardboard senpai that's very quickly filming that commercial. It's where we meet Nem's agency president for the first time. Apparently, Toby, Cardboard Senpai originally appeared in the Kamen Rider Zeztz spin-off series of Sisters Sub-Story.
So it's funny you said that. We went a little too far past it, and I forgot to tell you. only because the navigator watched every episode of Haruka's side story thing because it's like
Okay.
2 minutes a week and kept me vaguely in the loop until the ending, and it basically ended with like a cutscene screen, whatever, of like Z ranked like culinary or Z ranked something. So only because the box said like Z ranked meal, blah blah blah, I
Yeah.
knew it was the closing loop for like Haruka's side story videos that have been coming out for the past couple weeks.
Nice, you're ready. Yeah, I hadn't watched any of that stuff. I completely forgot that it existed. To be honest, like I remember the first episode came out, and I thought like, oh yeah, I should watch that, and then I forgot. So yeah, I should go back and check it out. But yeah, Shade gives a recap then of this character quickly. In the spinoff, the guy was a struggling actor that Baku's sister manages. She got him a job in an action movie, but he did terrible, and decided to quit. Uh, Minami then encouraged him to follow his dreams, and maybe all he needed was a different approach. After that, Minami discovered that the guy loves doing arts and crafts with cardboard. And I guess, yeah, so now he's finally got a gig doing cardboard arts and crafts. He's living the dream.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Like they do a little spin-off for her and then tie her story back into the main show. That is like that's good attention to detail. I like that a lot. Apparently, the idol girl that was also in that scene is from the idol group Nogazaka 46. She was a fan of Kamen Rider. She was very excited to be on set. However, she was disappointed that she didn't get to meet Zeztz in person during filming.
Like I guess like does that mean like the actor, like the kid that plays Zets, or like the suited Zets?
I think she means the suit because she was in the scene with Baku. So I'm assuming that she got to meet Baku.
You never know.
But so I'm guessing that she wanted to see the cool Kamen Rider suit, and then they weren't filming those scenes that day.
You never want to pull the curtain back too far. She might be better off never having met the suit
That's
itself.
true. They do say don't meet your heroes. Is that
Maybe when
is
you
that
see it in
true?
person, maybe it looks like garbage. Maybe it's like they touched it up so well with VFX that like it actually looks like hot shit in person, and they're like you would like you would be just be upset with yourself if you saw it.
It's like all those behind the scenes shots you see of the Marvel movies, and you're like, God, that looks terrible. Like,
Yeah,
why does Captain America look plastic? What's going on here? It's like, oh, because CG. They definitely CGI this up. Is there anyone, Toby, you've met in real life that like has let you down? You idolize them, and then you met them for real, and it wasn't living up to the hype. You saw the plastic costume.
I not so much directly with, I guess directly like that. I told you one random story before about it, so this is like a different, same kind of story. When I was growing up, I think the band's still active now too. There's a screamo band or post-hardcore band, whatever, called Ecstatic Lullaby. Uh, People might know them at best for they did a cover of Britney Spears' Toxic, but that's at best, and that would have been like 10 years ago. But the first time I saw them was at a shitty little club where they got to play 5 songs before the snowstorm that was outside got too bad. And they're like, we have to leave. They talked to me after the show. They were like, oh, thank you so much for hanging out and staying. That's awesome. Super nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So I met them. I was like, wow, I'm 20 and they seem cool. And like they were appreciative and talked to me and thanked me, everything else. So they came back to the same venue like a year later for a follow-up show. And they seemed way more drunk and arrogant at that point of like, hey, we're a real band now. So at one point, like they were being dumb on stage, and the most popular song they had back when I started listening to them, the song is called "The Shooting Star That Destroyed Us All," which is a very long thing to say for a concert. So they hadn't played it at that point, and people like scream song names between silent spots and everything else. So when the silent spots, Toby was like, play Shooting Star, because if we're picking words out of the thing, Shooting Star That Destroyed Us All, Shooting Star seems like an easy way to narrow it down or get the phrase out. And the guitarist was like drunk and angry, or just angry, or whatever mood he was in. But he was like, we don't have a fucking song named that, and got like pissed about it. And then they played it next anyway. But it wasn't like a ha ha ha, that's not the song name. It was like, fuck you, I'm going to be a dick about this. I'm better than you screaming this at me. And this was the same person that talked to me a year ago of like, oh, thank you so much for hanging out, blah, blah, blah. And it's not that I would expect them to know me. It's I didn't expect them to get like their heads up their asses that far in the span of a year at a little tiny shitty club in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I guess success goes to your head, even if it's just a modicum of success.
Yeah. So yeah, but in general, like that's the best like angry story I would have about something like that, I think.
Gotcha. That's very funny. Let's see. Back to Shade's email. Shade has some fun tidbits about the prison costume that Baku is in. It had the number 8987 on it.
So,
and apparently that means so I don't really know how 8 is ba, but Shade says 8 is ba, 9 is ku, okay, and 8 is hachi. So 8 means both ba and hachi in this puzzle, but actually like 8 in Japanese is hachi,
yeah.
and 9 in Japanese is Q. And then 7 is of course the number 7. So written out, if we're assuming the first 8 means ba for some reason that I don't understand, it is ba ku ha chi, and ha and wa are basically the same thing in Japanese. So essentially it is baku wa 7, or baku is 7, which is funny.
So I assumed Nem's Harley Quinn 2220 outfit meant something.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny that one of the other ones did, because my guess was Nem's was a code more so than everybody else's.
I didn't get a good look at hers, but I did see during the episode that Baku's ended with 7, and I was like, okay, it's got to be a reference to him being, Agent 7, whatever. But there you go. That's what they were going for with that one. They also talk about in Zetz's closet about Baku, quote, he's an ordinary, good-natured young man who dreams of ... This line is crucial in defining Baku. What does he usually wear? I'm sure he simply wears whatever his sister buys him without worrying about what others think, and he's been doing it for years. A good approach would be to consider the contrast with the sharp monochrome agent uniform. When creating the look for Baku, who is unemployed and unconventional, the option of secondhand clothing comes naturally to me. To make Imai Ryarturo, who also works as a magazine model, match Baku's style may be a tough task, but it's a challenge. Of the many items available, we decided to focus on a shirt style. It's what we call, quote, American casual. But after talking with Ryutaro, we decided that looking just the right amount of sloppy and lovable would definitely translate to the image of a normal young man. As the series progresses, you may notice that Baku's shirt sleeves aren't quite the right length, or the bottom of his t-shirt is too long for his outer shirt, but all of this was calculated.
I never noticed that, but that's funny. That's the thing.
I love that level of attention to detail. Like, yeah, we're making him sloppy on purpose. Like that's very, very cool and very real life. I hadn't actually considered, and it's very funny because every movie deals with this, that you constantly in productions like this are taking a very attractive person, a very attractive IRL person, and like having to figure out how to dress them to make them look both like a normal person and then potentially like a slob, depending on the role. Like that's a very funny concept, right? Like this guy looks great, is an actor already, is a model already, and then you have to be like, no, actually, you're just like a regular slob. So what clothes can we do to make that happen? And then Shade says, bonus detail because it's funny. There's a shot in the episode where Zeztz did a roll after being hit by the robot while he's talking to Nox. You can clearly see for 3 whole seconds an ungodly amount of dirt stuck onto the back of the Zeztz suit, which makes it even funnier. They did this same roll again, a later shot, and were able to hide that specific amount of dirt by shooting at a different angle. They could have hidden the dirt, but they decided to keep that shot in particular despite of it. I thought that was cool. I remember the dirt, and I was like, yeah, this feels very like real and gritty. He's getting all dirty.
I also remember the dirt and thought it was like, wow, they're actually beating the shit out of the suit. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I think leaving it in was the right choice because it stuck out to both of us. So that seems good. That was always one of my favorite things. and all the way back to like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, is like sometimes you just get those suits really dirty. And that was always really fun to see. Like, oh, they fell down and like the whole side of the white suit is just covered in dirt now. Obviously they're getting these things dirty a ton, but it's fun when it makes it in the show, I think. Shade says, now for some tidbits. Zetz's suit actor Kenta Nita recently appeared in an episode of Ultraman Omega. And man, he sure gave Omega a beating. Someone made a really funny edit where Zetz's music would start blasting every time he came on the screen, which is great. And then Shade says, next I'd like to bring up some of Zetz's gear because these gimmick toys have longer history in Kamen Rider than you'd think. During the 2010s, Kamen Rider always added these little rider gadgets into the show in addition to the belts and collectibles. You guys have seen O's, so you're familiar with the can droids, the little soda can robots.
Yep.
This was during the era that I grew up watching Kamen Rider, so I have a soft spot for them. And what makes the Zeztz gear super cool is that they're all references to past Kamen Rider items and gadgets. It's not a real difficult detail to spot because of all the toys that come with the Rider capsules they're referencing. So the first up is the Zeztz phone, the cell phone. That's a reference to Kamen Rider Fies, the first Kamen Rider to transform with a phone, and the first rider to have a spy motif in his design. None of it is in the story, though. And then the Zeztz camera is a reference to Kamen Rider Decade. Decade himself is a photographer, and a photographer that's good at everything except photography. Yeah, he always carries a bright pink camera around with him everywhere he goes. And the Zeztz sensor is a reference to Kamen Rider Double, specifically the Spider gadget, which is a spider-themed grapple watch. And the Zeztz license is a reference to Kamen Rider Den-O, specifically Den-O's Rider Pass that can make every door lead to a time-traveling train. We haven't seen much of it, but the Zeztz license has the ability to hack and open security systems, which is kind of like a pass, I guess. So there you go. They're a reference to Kamen Riders of yore.
So I'm sure there's a bunch of smarter people that were all about this and are like, oh shit, this is awesome. And then I was just confused and just think they're fun little things.
Yeah. I did after this episode think like, man, that Zeztz camera is pretty cool. Like I maybe am like more excited about the camera than the actual driver at this point. So I was looking up the toy for how the camera actually works. I was like, it's not a real camera, is it? No. So it comes with these little like lenticular cards that you slide into it. And basically like when it's in one position, it's one picture, and then you like move it slightly and then it's like a whole different picture because it's like in vertical slices.
Perfect.
So it's as lame as you could possibly imagine. Basically, when you watch it on TV and it's like, wow, it's a real camera, and then you get the toy and it's like, oh, it's not that at all.
Normal toy garbage bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Shade, thanks very much for the email. Once again, cast@KamenRiderSucks.com is the email address. Yeah, feel free to send us in anything that you want to say, any thoughts about Zeztz, how you're liking the show so far, just whatever. Any questions you might have, send those over to cast@KamenRiderSucks.com. All right. Toby, any final thoughts on Zeztz episode 6?
No, it's a good show, as always.
All right. And tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes. On YouTube, it's Tobes Plays. On Retro Achievements, it's Tobes Plays. And most importantly, on GeoGuessr, it's Tobes Plays as well. And everyone should be my GeoGuessr friend because we all have to get good and learn the world together.
So we can take it over, apparently. And
so we can take it over. You need to know we're all 180 some countries over, so we can all take over our respective ones.
Oh, I forgot to tell you this. Speaking of video games and friends in video games, so I've been playing a bunch of Street Fighter, right? And you can make like a club in Street Fighter. So I formed my own club called the Comet Riders. and I made as like a fun little logo. And now when I fight people online, it says the comment writers under my name. So
That's both awesome and sounds like a prime club. Like I made us a club on GeoGuessr as well because that's some new thing they're doing. And for both of these things, it seems like when you're a kid and you don't really have friends or like you want to have friends, you're like, wow, I'm going to make my own Power Rangers club and people are going to come to my treehouse every day at 3 o'clock and talk Power Rangers. And it's just like you and your own club. And you're like, oh, this is my club. Cool.
that's true. I guess it is from that
That's
angle
how
a
I
little
feel.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel on GeoGuessr. So, I mean, realistically,
Yeah.
I hope you learn your street fighting and bring our
Thank you.
club to the top. But I also have realistic expectations of my random friend making a random group.
Well,
Much like I
yeah.
do for myself.
And to be clear, I wasn't intending it even to be a club that like I would get people in. I literally just wanted the advertisement of everyone that I fought to know the name of my podcast. Like I wanted it to show up on other people's screens. I don't care about the actual club. I wanted everyone to know about the comment writers. That was
That
all.
works. That
Yeah.
works.
So that way when I completely trounce someone in ranked online, I want them to like angrily Google things about me and I want them to find our podcast.
What if they leave a 1-star review?
Well, that's the risk we'll take. What I'm really hoping is I get an angry email to the podcast email from someone that I faced online in Street Fighter. That's the goal. I faced someone the other day. Real quick story. One of the best Street Fighter pros is Mena RD. He's won like 2 Evos on Street Fighter. He's crazy. He plays Blanca in real life. I faced someone named Mena RD the other day who played Blanca and absolutely destroyed me the first round. Like I didn't even get to do anything and he demolished me. And then in the second round, he just didn't move his character and let me win. And then he didn't rematch after that and moved on. So I question mark if I played the real Mena RD or not. I certainly played someone who's very good at Blanca and then decided to just give up after that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But anywho, yeah, that's where you can find Toby. Me, I'm pretty much on Blue Sky as the main place. You can find me at meek.lol over there. And the Comment Writers is on Blue Sky as well. You can find us at commonwritersucks.com. So yeah, give us a follow over there. And of course, as I say every week, if you would subscribe to the show, if you would like the show, if you would thumbs it up, if you would leave it a review, all those things help. The thing that helps most, of course, is telling a friend. Fuck the algorithm. Tell a friend. Be a real algorithm for someone else. Tell them that they might like our show. Next time, we'll be back to talk about more zeztz and to figure out how the heck this whole Nem storyline wraps up. We hope you join us back for that. But until then, we hope you have a great week, everybody. Peace.